and welcome back to the United Stand. On today's afternoon show, there is a big Todibo blow, or Todibo, as Faz was just saying before we went live. There hasn't been much news about him recently. He was really hot, and now we've started to get linked to different centre-backs. Could this deal be off, and why will it be off when Sir Jim has a hand in Nice? Could that not help us out with the deal? We're going to get into that. Also, Bremer, really hot again. Is he now going to be the top target going into summer? How do we feel about that one? Also, John Murtough looking to save his job with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sir Dave Brailsford being very impressed with him so far and wanting to keep him at the club. Also, a massive cost-cutting exercise done by Sir Jim, and just some general chit-chat and banter as always. And before anybody starts, nobody make jokes about this setup. I know what it looks like. I know what it looks like.
What does it look like?
But don't do the jokes.
I thought it looks like Man United's midfield. Missing.
Who am I meaning? You're Casemiro.
I'm Bruno. to be fair, that kind of fits our profiles a little bit.
You're the big Tommy.
I'm McTominay, just because I'm blonde. Okay, no.
And you're hiding.
Bruno playing the right.
I'll be Bruno. Well, anyway, guys, welcome to the show. First things first, Mordzs,
Yep.
Faz. I feel weird. I'm like Harry Maguire when he's trying to turn super slow. But Faz, first of all, Todibo, we've been linked to him for a long time.
Yes.
The news is coming out. I'll read you the actual news that's come out here. So the MEN put out that Man United are concerned by Jean-Clair Todibo's asking price, amid transfer links. And then Ben Jacobs says that Man United are concerned by Nice's 47 to 51 million asking price for Todibo. They won't receive a discount from Nice for their centre-back, despite being owned by Ineos, and Manchester United don't see that price as the best value for money. So first things first, what do you think about the 47 to 51 million asking price? It's
a lot, isn't it? In my opinion, it's a lot, because think about how much money we paid for Lisandro Martinez, and then in comparison to that, Jean is valued at similar price range-ish. I think Jean's had a really good season. Linked with Manchester United means his price tag is obviously going to go higher than what we expect. But this is where I will say we need to draw a line in the sand, because how can you expect Manchester United to be overpaying for a player that is playing for a club which is owned by our current footballing people? Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing in the chat.
No, what's the chat saying?
The chat's saying it's an Oreo.
Like a biscuit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Me in the middle, me too. Oh God! And they're also just making.
Everybody loves to dip their Oreo in milk.
They're making other jokes as well. But carry on, Todibo, serious.
Anyways, I love an Oreo.
So it's my favourite biscuit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Surprising. I'm not surprised. Anyways, Todibo, right? No more than 30 million. I'll be honest. 25, 30 million. He plays in Nice, and Sir Jim owns Nice. There's no reason for us to be linked with Todibo at this high price tag. Funny enough, though, I don't think we're actually going to be going in for him anyways. I think there'll be other centre backs that we'll be looking at. A lot of people have obviously hyped up Jared Braithwaite, and a lot of people have hyped up Todibo prior. But we do need two centre backs. I think if the price tag is right, I would like both of them. If Everton are relegated, then the price tag goes down for him as well, Jared as well. So if all goes to plan, I would expect Sir Jim to be working to get Todibo for 30, 35 million, and Jared for 50 million, price tag 55 million.
You think they would get Braithwaite out of Everton for 50 mil?
If they get relegated.
Yeah.
If they don't get relegated, then obviously the price tag goes 60 upwards, and obviously there's the Man United tax. But looking at the news that's coming about, Ineos looking at cost cutting methods and etc. I expect them to use the same kind of mentality going into the transfer window, because what I want to call this transfer window is going to be a sweaty summer. Man United are going to be really sweating this summer, considering how many players are leaving, FFP, budget, cost cutting. So yeah, 47 to 50 odd million is no go, absolutely no go.
I mean, Mordzs, I want to bring you into this, because I tweeted out, I was like, Ineos literally owns Nice. Like, surely there can be some sort of connections there to help us out with the price. And then a good point that was made was that RB Leipzig literally got a 50% discount on Sesko from Salzburg when he went there. I mean, I understand, things aren't clean cut like this. Like, you're not going to disrespect Nice as a club and the fan base to just, we're taking Todibo for dirt cheap, thank you very much. But surely there could be some sort of connection there.
That was literally the point I was going to make, because I understand Jim Ratcliffe, for us, he's our kind of football in for the footballing department. Ineos, they have pretty much complete control. I'm not too sure if they have complete control as well on the Nice side, which is why they don't have as much leeway when it comes to how much players cost. Because, like you said, I wouldn't even want to disrespect Nice anyway and just say let's have him for 20 million because he's not worth 20 million.
Well, there was talks of him for 34 million last summer.
Exactly.
Yeah. But like I said before as well with Everton, like the same thing happened with James Ward-Prowse, same thing happened with Maddison. When these guys get relegated, they need to sell the biggest players. So we might just be in luck that Branthwaite might just be at a crazy low price just because they have to make up the money, and especially because when you get relegated, a lot of your wages come down because you're not playing Premier League football.
Yeah. Can I make a point as well? A player going from Red Bull Group to Red Bull Group is, with no disrespect, a massive upgrade. Either Red Bull Group are looking to get players to sell on. That's kind of going to be their ethos. Yeah. Also, we don't know if in the transfer contract it's built in that the club, Red Bull Leipzig, who sold him originally, will have a sell-on clause. So they might have let him go, for example, Sesko for 50% discount, or whatever discount it is. But when the other club sells him, the first Red Bull club will make quite a bit of chunk of money as a sell-on clause. So we don't know these
Same thing that
outs.
City did with Sancho. They had that sell-on clause with Dortmund. So when he came to United, they made money off it.
Yeah, so we don't know actually what we can do. For Jean, it's going to be a massive upgrade to Manchester United. We don't think we want to be in a position to be selling our players to the likes of Real Madrid because we want to keep them. So we're going to have to pay a little bit over the odd to secure him. But the only thing we can bank on is Ineos will step in and try and help us out with the deal because we need a centre-back so bad.
I'm going to be honest, I thought Todibo was honestly going to be nailed on, especially with the fact that Ten Hag's liked him for over a year now, and Ineos and the links to Nice. But recently, I don't think the ties might change, but I don't think we'll go for Todibo. I don't think we will. We've been linked to other players more. I mean, when I've asked Fabrizio about it as well on shows, like he used to be saying, he was really a top target of ours. He says he's a target for us, but there's so much talk now about Bremer, about Branthwaite, about Antonio Silva, even Yanni Loro, who looks like he's going to go for Real Madrid as well. So potentially Real Madrid, even people laughed at when I said Real Madrid will be interested in Branthwaite, but that news came out yesterday because obviously the Ancelotti links to Everton. They're in the market for a centre back. There's going to be competition, but there's so many good centre-backs on the market that United don't need to just go down one route. And I agree that 47.51 mil for Todibo is overpriced, I'm going to be honest. I think he should be a little bit cheaper than that, especially if you can get Branthwaite out for, it's all if, buts and maybes. If Everton do get relegated, maybe 55, 60 million. But still then, people talk about this. If more than one club's interested, you can create that bidding war. So things can...
But United are known for paying overpriced anyway. How much did we pay for Wan-Bissaka? 50 million again.
Oh, don't even.
I mean, that was a long time. It was quite a few years ago. So I think they're probably looking at our past signings and looking at how much we pay for other players and thinking, well, if you're going to pay that for him, why won't you pay us? Why won't you pay us for this player? And that's pretty much our fault because we paid so much for certain players. So you can't really complain if they ask for 50 million for Todibo.
Yeah.
Well, here's one to think about. Gleison Bremer keeps getting brought up. And it again came out today that he's now our top centre-back target. I'm not sure if he is our top centre-back target, but I definitely know Dan Ashworth likes him, and I definitely know that he is on the list for Manchester United. He's going to be actually on the 18th of March. I was doing my research because I'm researching a centre-back video, in depth of all of our targets. And I was doing first bit of my research today, and Gleison Bremer, he's going to be 27 on the 18th of March, very, very soon. He's got, Romano even said in the show, his makeup is built for the Premier League. He's physical, he's fast, he's tall, he's aggressive. But at 27, do you think that's a little bit high on the age for what we need to be going for a centre-back this summer?
No. The requirements for a centre-back isn't, for example, a requirements for the full-backs, requirements for a midfielder, for example. The type of football we want to be playing as well. Physicality will come into a question and pace. If he's going to be able to have recovery pace, those are the key things. And look, I think the age thing. I don't want to go down this route and miss out on players as well. I think 27 is a good age. In all honesty, it's the right balance with experience, right balance with peak career age as well. So I don't think that's a problem. But I think what you mentioned is a good point. Is there's so many centre-backs out there. We need to get a good mixture mixture and a good balance where we have, you know, Martinez, look at his age. You don't want to go down too young now, and you don't want to go into old. You just have to find the right balance so we can build on that back line for the next few years. And if you get someone for a 27-year-old as well, what makes sense is in 4 or 5 years' time, we can have a rejig and get another centre-back. So we're not in a position where in any given summer, we're needing 2-3 centre-backs, because look at the position we're in now.
I feel like centre-backs get better with age anyway, because in my opinion, you know, look at top centre-backs in the past 10 years, they've hit their prime post-30, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's only the ones that have been injury-prone their whole career that kind of slowed down at you know, 30 plus. But a lot of you look at Chiellini, you look at Bonucci, you look at even Ramos,
those are
they all get better post-30,
class.
because one of the big parts of being a good centre-back is your experience, it is your footballing IQ. You don't have to be the fastest player to still be a world-class centre-back. So at 27, in my opinion, that gives him a good enough amount of time to probably hit his peak.
I mean, look at Pepe yesterday. He was insane. But one thing I would say on this as well, everyone get your super chats in about who you would want, why you would want them. Really interested to hear your opinions and get involved with the conversation. With Bremer, which I think is an important point to bring up, he might not be, you know, completely, you know, everyone's top target. And to be honest, I would need to look at him more. But from what I've looked at so far, the traits that he has, and I think it's all about partnerships in football. I think they complement Martinez really well. You know, he's got really good aerial ability, which is important when you're partnering with Lisandro Martinez. I know Lisandro Martinez is good in the air, but he's not tall, let's be honest. Yeah. So you need that, you know, he's physical, he's aggressive, same as Martinez. Is passing out from the back his best strength? He's good at it. He's composed on the ball, he can do them passes, but he's not Lisandro Martinez passing out from the back. But you've got that from Martinez, and it allows you to play that high line because of how pacey he is. So I think as a partnership, they actually would complement each other really well.
Yeah. I mean, I think we should be, it's going to sound weird, but we should actually be looking for a player with Varane's type, because him and Martinez, when they're both in form, are great together.
Fantastic
together. I don't think anyone actually complains when those two play together and they're both in form, because their play styles really complement each other. Varane's amazing aerial duels, and obviously Martinez, he likes to push the ball into midfield a lot more than Varane does. Varane's a lot more like a safety defender. He'll stay back and make sure things are composed. So if we actually look for a player that fits Varane's type, and obviously a bit younger, he's got a lot more to learn, stuff like that, then I think it'll work out well.
I think that's a very fair point, in all honesty. You wanna be able to get two centre-backs that complement one another, that allow the other person to carry the ball while I stay back, and vice versa. The thing is, if you're competent on the ball, you already excelled quite a bit anyways, because that's the type of football we want to play. All you need is a bit of competence on the ball and a bit of pace. Centre-backs are naturally big, naturally strong and physical. All of that side will be covered by the manager, whoever that may be, for Manchester United next season.
Yep.
Mario Franco says, I'd rather buy Tomori over Todibo for the same amount. Tony says the problem is that the whole world knows we need centre-backs. They will charge us premium to get them. Well, there's a lot of centre-backs on the market, which is a good thing for us.
I don't agree with that super chat. And I'll tell you why. Because, for example, Liverpool were in demand for midfielders. They didn't get priced out for McAllister. They didn't get priced out for Ryan Gravenberch, and people used to refer to their midfield as retirement FC, and look how they did their business. I think every team will probably look. Arsenal need striker, but Chelsea need a striker, stuff like that. It's how you do your business. I think the most important thing. His super chat has some basis that there'll be a premium, but you know what Manchester United really need to do? We really need to start building relationship with teams. We don't have a good relationship with other teams. That's why we get charged so much all the time. People just flog us in the market. If we start having good relationships where we can sell players on, move players on, and we've got a bad reputation as well with agents, with whatever. We need to stamp our authority and move correct in this window. Then we can start making some good deals, because all the other teams many other teams are making good deals happen for themselves. Quickly,
before we move on to the next point, is there anyone that in particular that would be your top centre-back choice?
It's an interesting question, that. I haven't thought that far yet, I'll be honest, but...
You couldn't narrow it down?
I like Jared after looking at him in real life, I do. I think for the age, he's a real specimen, he is, for his age. You don't get that type of build and profile with agility, rarely you get that type of centre-back, so I'm liking him quite a bit at the moment. If I say who's the number one, I'd say him. And also because look at the team he's playing in, look at the environment he's playing in, league he's playing in, all of these things are great addition.
Premier League proven.
I agree, but the only reason I wouldn't say that is just the fact that he does play on the left side. He's a left-footed centre-back, so it's like, do we need him?
We need a right-sided centre-back.
That's the main. So it's like if we bring him in, we're just going to bring him in to be either to play slightly out of position, obviously still a centre-back, but it'll be a bit different, or we're going to have to replace Martinez, which makes no sense. Yeah. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't say he's my main target. I mean, before it was Todibo, I'm going to earlier this season anyway, but. I mean, like Faz, I haven't actually thought about it as the number one target.
The reason why I'm saying with Jared is I understand people have isolated him.
He can play right as well.
Isolated him as a left, but you know why I'm so fond of him because he can play left and the right, and we don't have the data to know if Martinez is actually injury prone. We need him to come back, play a whole season, and say, you know what, well done, Martinez. He's thank God he's okay.
What I'd say on that though is with us bringing a left back in the summer, which Romano's confirmed is like definite. Luke Shaw can play left-sided centre-back then as well. But obviously there is injury issues there. A lot of people in the chat are saying Scalvini is a good player and they would like to see us go down that route. Another young player there. Prajwal Tismina says, I would love to see Martinez playing as a holding midfielder. I don't think we'll see that, but it's kind of one of them fan theories that everyone wants.
I had that theory before we signed Martinez,
But everyone getting your super chats to what you think, but let's move on to the next part of call, which I find very interesting. I mean, we're going to talk about the summer and the finances and everything like that, but it's coming out from Rob Dawson at the ESPN that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sir Dave Brailsford are keen to keep John Murtough after he has initially impressed the bosses since the takeover, and they're keen to keep him in some capacity, which to me means not going to be a sporting director, but will stay at the club. I mean, Mordzs, did you expect this to happen? Because I did. I knew he wouldn't fully get shifted out. And it's horrible to say, you want someone to lose their job. But what I would say is he can't be our sporting director, that's for sure. Yeah,
and I spoke about this on one of the other shows, that we're going through a transition phase, which isn't just about players. And it's not just about even coaching stuff, that there has to be a full reset across United, because a lot of these guys I don't know how long Murtough obviously been at United, but a lot of these guys have been there for a very long time, and if you really want to have a big if any of us really want to have a big impact in how the club is actually run and developed, you kind of have to. It's going to be very unfortunate, but some of the big names behind the scenes have got to go. But what you just read there, they said they've been impressed by what he's done so far. I do think that because they've only been here for such a short amount of time, there's still definitely gonna be a lot of conversations about whether or not he's going to stay in the long term. Because, like I said, they've not been here for that long to even really know how impressive a lot of these guys behind the scenes really are. So it just seems, in my opinion, it just sounds like for now we'll just keep things steady. And then we'll see in the future, maybe a season, two seasons.
I think Murtough's going to go into dealing with the academy.
Yeah, that's what he initially was signed for. Yeah. And to be fair, he was responsible for Garnacho, which is...
Yeah, I think that's where he's going to go into, and I think that'll be a good role for him. Go and do what you did with the likes of Garnachos and all of those other players that you brought in. We've been able to sell some of them on. Some of them have come on in hard times and gave us some output. So go back to the academy and keep building that like Carrington. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I think Murtough, a lot of people criticise him and going on him, but with the circumstances that have happened, I think he's done okay, in all honesty. If you really peel the layers back and look at what he's had to deal with, the requirements from Erik ten Hag for him to go and chase players that probably weren't achievable, he's tried his best, hasn't he? And he's delivered on so many players as well. Whether we've overpaid or not is a different story, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat talking about left backs here, just to kind of go off topic, are talking about Wendell, the Porto left back, who obviously had Saka in his pocket not only last night, but the game before that, actually over in Portugal as well. So that's an interesting one to talk about. But just before we move on to that and just talk a little bit more on the subject, I agree with you. I think Murtough will move over to the academy. I always thought they'd shift him. I think to outright sack him, I just don't think they're going to do. But what I would also say is, if you're told you're on trial for your job, you're going to up your game a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah,
anyone can do that when you're kind of on trial. It's like, when your first month at a new job, you're putting in the extra work, you're getting in early, you're staying late, and then it starts to ease off. With some people it doesn't. So we'll see how it kind of develops with John Murtough, but he definitely won't be director of football. We know that because Dan Ashworth's coming in, and I don't think he'll really deal with first-team recruitment like you said. And you know, if he produces more stuff like the Garnacho in the academy, I'm happy with that. Let's just see how it goes.
Even Kambuala, you know, think of that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Got some super chats in. Achint Jory says 25% of his fee will go to Barca, hence the price. That's on Todibo. That's an interesting point. Mark Lamridge says 3 players we need are Leao, Brewer and Ederson. Well, we've been linked to Brazilian Ederson, midfielder from Atalanta, a little bit today actually, quite a few times actually.
Atalanta owe us a favour, man. Bro, give us a discount, please. You lot always, like, we've bought players from you and we've paid some serious money.
They gave us Hojlund.
But we paid the price.
We've paid some serious cash.
Amad Diallo as well.
Yeah.
Andy Mack, Wendell, that Porto left back looks like class. You've talked about that. Simakan of Leipzig can play right back too, says Gray Sheridan. And yeah, they're all the super chats for now. Getting your points as well, getting your opinions. But on the left back situation, would you be looking at that Porto left back now, Faz?
There's a lot. There's a lot of left backs out there, but not at 30 years old. I think there's other left backs out there that you can go and get. I think Manchester United should, in all honesty, I've identified the left back, and I'm really glad so many people have agreed with me. That's the first transaction that we should make. I think we need to really go
United
hard.
Have agreed with you now.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Manchester United. I think Manchester United should go in hard for Udogie. I think we should go for him.
I
know Daniel Levy and whatever, but Daniel is Sir Jim now. Let's sit down.
Have you seen that meme where it says, "I love your enthusiasm, but you are never getting tickets to that show"?
Daniel Levy as well, of all people.
I know.
I love the enthusiasm. I love it, but you're in fantasy dreamland.
I think that's the guy, man.
Udogie is incredible, and the fact we didn't get him is so upsetting. He's so good, but there's no way you are getting him out of Spurs. There's no way.
I know. It's just, if there was anyone you ask me Manchester United to go in for, it'd be him. I'll be honest.
Just know that if we are going to go in for him, it's going to be
Daniel's just going to rinse us.
Exactly. And the player might not even want to go. Like, Spurs are probably going to be in Champions League next year, and we probably not. So
that is also a fair point.
But yeah, I mean, Udogie would be class, but we can't be doing that. There's talks about, Xerxes from Bournemouth. Not Xerxes. That's the wrong name. Can't remember the name now. I have to think about it. The Bournemouth left back. I'm getting mixed up with the striker.
The left backs that I like are
Kirkes, that's the one.
Top. Look, listen, Nuno Mendes, man, what a player! Oh my God.
Yeah, but he's going to cost you an arm and a leg. We're not going to spend a load of money on left backs.
I know, but I want Manchester United too. That is what I'm saying.
So out of in my opinion, there's 3 main positions. There's left back, centre back, and probably right wing. There are 3 main. Out of those 3, what's your ranking?
Left back first. Number 1 transaction should be left back, and a proper one as well, because we've got 2 left backs that are both, we don't know what the situation is with injuries. If Malacia was able to stay fit for come back and stay fit for the course of the season, I would have said, right, okay, let's go in for someone a bit cheaper. But we need a number 1 proper left back. And throw me some names, because there's so many left backs out there to go and scout from. Things are going to get heated up as the months go on. So we'll see who Manchester United are linked with in terms of left back. But if, like I said, Nuno Mendes and Udogie, these are the type of players you want to break the bank for.
Apparently we're scouting Girona's left back. I can't quite remember the name, but I know we're scouting Girona's left back. He's having a very, very good season. People getting some names in the chat. Robinson from Fulham, he's good, and he's really come on this year as well. A lot of people keep putting Doty in from
Grimaldo as well. A name that gets mentioned quite a bit.
Grimaldo's not coming.
Yeah, Grimaldo's not coming. Again, that's another one. We've got to be realistic. Yeah. He's not coming. Also, he's very forward thinking, isn't he? He plays in a back 5 currently. Can he do that as a back 4?
Same with Nuno. Very, very forward thinking. Very, really good on the ball.
That's the modern football now. You need someone who's good on the ball, and you need somebody who can take your team forward. But obviously, you want to have the defensive capabilities in there as well. But everyone get your chats in the comments. Jordan Meldina says, bring Teo Hernandez to Old Trafford, please. Again, love you, but you're not getting tickets to that show.
There's actually quite a lot of tops, like left backs in the world.
What's the situation with
Luke Shaw
Alvaro
topped them all,
Fernandez?
okay.
You know what I mean? What's the situation with Alvaro Fernandez?
Alvaro Fernandez is going to go to Benfica. He's not coming back to United, is he? Let's be honest. Yeah. Even though, you know, a lot of people see a lot of potential in him. I mean, a lot of people bigging up Harry Armas. He's only 16. He's not going to be ready yet, but someone who to definitely keep an eye on. Mark Lamridge says, you drinking? We have one striker and left back is first choice. Yeah, striker is absolutely huge.
You know what? Yes, I am drinking. Yes, I am. And I'm drinking high-grade sparkling water. I'm fasting at the moment, but when I break my fast, that's what I'm drinking, because I'm telling you, if you're not understanding the reason why I'm saying left back, if you were in charge of Manchester United, would be in shit if you're going for a striker first.
Can I just say, we do actually, in my opinion, need to go for a striker. The reason being, by the way, I really do think left back's a priority. But worst comes to, like, at the end of the day, you do have two left backs right now. I know they're both injury prone. Worst comes to worst, you've got someone there. The amount of goals we're scoring isn't good enough. It's not. It really isn't. Hojlund,
Great.
It's not his fault. Like, he's brilliant. But the fact of the matter is, when Hojlund's not there, you've seen how disjointed our front line is and how much we struggle to score goals. We can't score goals from open play. We had to rely on 2 penalties against Everton. It's a problem. Hojlund, and I was speaking to my personal trainer about this actually, because of his style and the way he plays, he's explosive, he's pacey, he gives everything, he will continue to get muscle injuries. It's going to happen, especially at the young age he is, if you don't manage him. We need someone who can play as a striker when he's not there. Rashford ain't going to cut it. Bruno false 9 ain't going to cut it. And Scott McTominay, bless you all, he's not going to cut it. We need a striker.
Yeah, I hear it. Look at the example I'm going to use. Look at teams out there that don't have top quality strikers and the team is still able to create. If our wingers got involved with goals a lot more, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I'm telling you. Look at last season, for example, right? Rashford was getting...
That's dependent on how you play, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Our style of play is, like you said, it's so reliant on having that target man who can hold you up the ball and like get you up the pitch.
And that's not good. I understand that it is important, but that's not good. It's left back, the position itself is too hindrance to the team playing football. Because I don't want to be in a situation where we have to be loaning players again to be filling in just so we can have a player there because we're short on numbers. Amrabat's going to go. I don't know what the hell is going to happen with Luke and Tyrell. So considering all of these factors, the team won't play good enough if we don't have a left back because we're constantly having to cover. Even if, let's say, Bissaka comes back, right? He has a good season. Dalot has to play left back, no problem. But then you're still short on 2 fullbacks at that point because you're going to have the right back playing left back and you're going to have the left backs injured. So now you have 2 players out instead of 1. Think of it as a squad building way. It's going to be bigger of a hindrance to the team. Also, Rashford plays better when you have a competent enough left back playing with him, like the likes of Luke Shaw. So again, that's important as well. If we have a left back properly, we'll create better chances for the team to score. And I get the striker conversation and etc. We should be in for a striker, but I think that can come second. No problem with that. Or maybe do 2 deals at the same time. But
I mean, yeah, that last point will be great. 2 deals at the same time. But I'm saying with Beth, I think striker first, just because. Like you said, we do actually technically have 2 left backs. Like in the club, we do have 2 left backs there. We actually don't have two. I mean, technically, Martial's not going to be here next season, and even he is like.
No, he's not going.
He's going.
He's going. You know what I mean? So it's like we do have 1 striker, and even that 1 striker we have, we're kind of hoping. We're hoping because realistically, if we're going to look at the season for Hojlund, yes, he's got into a great form, but at the start of the season, he wasn't amazing. He wasn't scoring a lot of goals. So we're actually hoping next season that he carries on what he's done for half of this season, and it's not a purple patch like what we said about Rashford. Whereas we do have a left back who has shown us that he can play consistently over a full season. Luke Shaw. Over a full season, he played over a full season.
Average is 32 games a season.
But as well with Hojlund, I do think it was just the adaptation, and plus, you know, he's living off absolute scraps, and I think we've realised how important he was these games he's been out, but. As well, like, he's 21 years of age. We do not need to run him into the ground. I think we're playing... I think Garnacho is, like, so promising, and I really rate him. But he shouldn't be playing the amount of minutes he is. It's because we don't have anyone else of any quality.
Ask Marcus to step up. Step up a bit and contribute with some goals and stuff.
He's not a right winger, Marcus. He's playing on the left.
Yeah, but you can contribute from the left
Anthony
like you did last season.
needs to step up as well.
Yeah, ask our wingers to step up a bit. The ones that do get minutes, the ones that don't, I can't have anything against them. But if the wingers stepped up a bit, then we'd be in a much better position.
What are your thoughts on this? Ricardo says Ollie Watkins should be the first signing.
What up? Stop it, you lot. Behave yourselves. No. Ollie Watkins.
No, again, another one that's not going to happen. Why? Why on earth would you leave Aston Villa where you're so comfortable, everything's nice? Yeah. They probably finish above us this season as well.
Yeah,
and, and
he probably wants first-team football guaranteed. And realistically, when Hojlund and Watkins are both fit, if we're in Europe, you can distribute the game time. But Ollie Watkins is... I'm going to be honest, I used to think Watkins was good, but I never thought he had the ceiling to be great. Yeah. But Unai Emery's really... He's done an absolute... cooking masterclass. He's done a Gordon Ramsay.
He uses, I don't know if you know, he uses Cavani as a example to teach him movements off the ball. Did you know that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Unai Emery sits with Ollie and shows him clips of Cavani to help him up his game. He'd
be ridiculously too expensive anyway. Here's one for you, and I've spoke about this on before, and I've got stick for it, but I would be so into this if we went for it because I think it provides a good balance. Solanke.
Elizabeth.
What?
Please. Your diet needs to change because whatever you're eating is messing up the neurons up there.
You don't rate Solanke?
Are you mental?
To start for Manchester United, when you have players like... Look at the strikers that we can possibly get.
Be realistic now.
We're not going to spend our big chunk of money on a striker in the summer. We're not. Solanke, I think, goals this season, he's right up there.
Yeah,
he is.
And playing for Bournemouth.
Yeah.
He's a good age.
Yeah.
He's not going to demand to start every single game. He can rotate with Hojlund, so Hojlund still gets a lot of game time. And I still think he's good enough. He runs the channels really well. He's got a decent hold-up play, and he knows where the back of the net is. I think he is. People are saying we shouldn't sign like a Tony or that sort of player because you don't want to overtake Hojlund's development. Then isn't Solanke that sort of player who can come in and still play for you? Premier League proven, knows how to find the back of the net in the Premier League.
Yeah.
The number one striker, if you ask me, that Manchester United should go head on, is Dusan Vlahovic. That is what you call a striker. A clinical killer he is in front of goal. He's a serious striker. Forget Solanke and all of them. Good player, really good.
Solanke for Bournemouth this season has scored 14 goals in the Premier League. Same as, Ollie Watkins has scored 16.
Any ex-Liverpool player, is he going to come here?
Solanke scored 14. Of course he would. He was talking about how much he loved playing at Old Trafford when he was doing his interview. He was only at Liverpool for a tiny bit.
Dusan Vlahovic. Wow. I want him. A lot
of people in the chat are bantering me for Solanke. He scored 14 goals in the Prem for Bournemouth this season.
Remember Pukki and Dominic Calvert-Lewin a couple of seasons ago? When they were absolutely going on a madness.
I never wanted Dominic Calvert.
I know, but you know what I mean?
But one thing about Solanke that I will say is, when I think about getting a second striker, because realistically we're going for a second striker, unless people want Hojlund to be a substitute.
No, I don't want a second striker.
You want Hojlund to be a substitute?
Yes.
Why though?
What? Like, imagine, let me paint this picture, like, any striker, right? Let's say Vlahovic, whoever, right? Yeah. Starting, it's like 65th minute, 70th minute, you got Rasmus Hojlund coming on, crashing the box, terrorising tired defenders, centre-backs. Imagine, like...
I'd rather it the other way around. I'd rather Hojlund start and we bring on someone to crash.
I don't know. That's
the only reason why I wouldn't go for Solanke, because I don't see him as that kind of player. I see him as like a 90 minutes, he's going to give you a good job, he's going to tire out the defenders for a long period of time. But somebody who's a bit more quick, somebody who's going to come in and actually run around and do a lot of legwork, that's the kind of striker.
So you want an Alvarez to our Rasmus, basically? Like Alvarez is there for City? Yeah. That's what you want?
Yeah.
I think that's big responsibility.
Someone behind him, yeah, because you have a Haaland, who's going to be there for 90 minutes.
Not that I'm comparing. But
yeah, but like styles, isn't it? Like you have a Haaland, but then you've also got somebody else who can get you a lot of goals, but they're just going to cause problems around the striker and score goals as well.
think that was an interesting conversation, though. It's going to be interesting to see which way Man United go. We keep getting linked to Xerxes as well from Bologna.
Yeah.
But I don't know too much about him, but interesting. And he's only going to cost like 35 million apparently. So we're going to be looking in a lower price range, I think, on the striker front. Mario Franco says Girona's striker and their left back. XSC says through all the issues, Man United will still end up 5th/6th. We say we need a rebuild, but we still want Champions League. How does that work? What is your opinion on an acceptable year during a rebuild? I mean, you have to ask Faz because he's the one who's complaining.
I don't think United have the leeway to have a year off.
Yeah.
We can't just say no Champions League just so we can build. That's not financially possible.
That's true. That's true. I mean, last little bit of the show, which I wanted to bring in to you guys, is that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has appointed corporate restructuring firm Interpath Advisory to undertake a major cost-cutting exercise at Manchester United. The review will take place in 2 parts, with the first task being asked to analyse United's business costs, such as travel bills, contracts with external companies. The second phase, later this year, will involve a review of United's employee costs, which is expected to lead to a significant job cuts from 20 to 25%. I mean, first of all, Sir Jim's not messing about. Every single aspect is kind of covering already. But what are your initial thoughts on that?
I heard what was our wage bill last year? Like 380
highest in the Prem.
million. That's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. 380 million pounds. And some of the players that are up in that list, for example, I think Casemiro was our highest paid player. That's wild. Like, I'm not saying Casemiro was not good or anything, but he did like 350 to almost 400k a week. And you look at, for example, a team like Liverpool. One thing that they do very well, and a team like Bayern as well, the thing that they do well is the fact that they don't let players dictate their wages. I think literally, Salah's only just about getting a good wage now, and he's been their best. He's been one of the best players in the world for the past 5 years. So, I don't know, I forgot his name, but whoever he is, the fact that he's going to be able to come in and actually control that and try and regulate it a bit more, it's obviously going to help a lot for United.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second, but there's just been some breaking news, and the breaking news is, I mean, it's Southgate being Southgate. Manchester United's young star, Mainoo, is unlikely to be given a first senior call-up by Gareth Southgate this week. There is plans for him to be promoted to England's under-21s for the first time. It's mental he's not even been in the under-21s before. But yeah, breaking news is that Gareth Southgate is unlikely to name Mainoo in his England squad and give him his first senior call-up. I mean, I saw that coming, but I think if Calvin Phillips goes, I'm going to honestly bang my head against a brick wall.
Yeah, that's wild. That is very wild.
I don't want him to play for England.
I would like. I mean, I definitely want to play for Ghana.
I mean, I'm an England fan, so I want him to play for England. He will play for England, by the way, eventually.
Yeah, well, look, a lot of people say, he'll win more accolades on a personal level. If he did play for England, he would be considered for more things. And I get all of that, but I'm just going to keep it straight up and honest, because I'm brutally honest with you all. Some of these players that should be playing in the African countries, that play in, for England, the sheer amount of racism that they receive if they have a bad performance is shocking. And the FA, they just put on an armband and they put on some ads, and we don't really do enough to tackle that, in all honesty. We've tried for years, and it's not good enough. And I don't want a player like Mainoo to ever face something like that. He's a real humble kid. He's a real good lad, and he should never face something like that. Go and make Ghana proud.
Yeah, I could sit here and rant about this. I've spoken about this so many times about players who raised in England. Fair enough, raised in England, that's your hometown, so you can never say that they're not English. They're probably born in. He is born in England, so you can't say that he's not an English person. But a lot of these guys who have an ethnicity from another country, they choose to play for England just because it's easier for them. And I can understand why you do that, because, like you said, you're from here, you speak the language. You might not speak your home country's language and whatnot. You might not have even been there that much. But when you go back home and you do play for your home country, there's a different level of respect that you receive. You look at, like, Iwobi, play for Nigeria, even
Wilfred.
Zaha. Yeah, going back for his home country. A lot of these guys, the Nigeria team in general and the Ivory Coast team in general, have a lot of players who are British players, but they're celebrated so much more, and because they're actually going back to the home country and they respect them. Whereas, unfortunately, in this country, a lot of players, they're only respected if they're giving them something. You're giving them
That's
goals.
right.
You're giving them the performances. But as soon as that goes away, the respect gets taken away as well, which it actually gets on my nerves.
I think it also creates a lot of competition for world competitions. It doesn't just have a monopoly of a couple of teams that dominate those competitions. Looking at the AFCON this year, it just, helped me understand a lot more. I think, for example, Jose Mourinho, Zlatan, I've spoken about this before as well, and said players should be playing, in the African countries, because it would elevate the level of football so much more. It would bring eyes to those competitions so much more, and other players would get a lot of chance as well.
Obviously, the racism that does happen is absolutely disgusting. Like, especially, obviously, the Euros was a big eye opener for that, for sure. But the one thing I would say is, obviously, if a player wants to play for where they're from, play there. If they want to play for England, play for England. It's up to the player at the end of the day. And sometimes, the fact of the matter is, if you're playing for England, you're playing in usually a competition that's going to be more competitive. And and that's kind of where players maybe want to go. But also, if he wants to play for Ghana, play for Ghana. If he wants to play for England, play for England. But I don't think the thing is with Southgate, it's like with him as manager, it's tough because he either likes you or he doesn't, and he has his little things that he has to have in players, and he has his favourites. So if Cobby doesn't see himself getting into the team in future years, then take that step. But he's only 18. I think he has a lot of time to make up his mind. He's only just come onto the scene, and obviously staying humble, staying grounded right now. But it's unfortunate. I think he deserved a call up personally, but that's kind of where we're at on that. Chris sorry, I don't know how to say your name, Chris. I'm so sorry. He said, different playing for Bournemouth than Man United, different expectations and massive pressure. You could say that from anyone we signed. Man City signed Nathan Ake from Bournemouth. Nathan Ake's killing it. So, it's... I get your point, but...
mentality.
Yeah. I think he
environment plays a big part as well.
Yeah.
Environment and how the fans are of that club as well play a big part. Look, you go to City, for example, look at the fans, obviously they're winning, so the mentality of the whole club outside is a lot more positive, whereas in Manchester United, we're so hungry and always looking to see players perform and live up to the expectation. Instantly, from match day one, you're expected to deliver, and if you don't, a lot of fans start turning on you. So, it'll probably be environment as well.
What do you think about the cost-cutting thing?
It's an interesting one, because I think Manchester United obviously need to become self-sustainable. So I like that part. From the employee side of things, you mentioned that it's player wages, but I don't know if it is going to be player wages or not, because last time I heard something, it was they were cutting down hours of ground staff. I remember. I don't know if you remember that report, that they were cutting down hours of ground staff and things like that. And it's not nice to really hear for a club the size of Manchester United. We make too much money to be doing these things, but the money's not spent wisely. It's positive to think that he's coming to understand where the money's going and get a control of it. So that's a nice thing. We'll see. Long as CAF and reception still there.
CAF will
long as
still be there, for sure.
CAF is there, I think rest will be all right. But it's positive. It'll probably take a while, but it's positive. Murtough's not going to be going on his cocktail drinks in Spain and Italy and stuff like that, so it's okay.
Give Kath a long-term contract. There was also a little bit of news coming in that from Rob Dawson as well, that Man United's recruitment team are touring Europe's biggest clubs ahead of a transfer window in an effort to get a jump start on this summer's squad rebuild. John Murtough and Matt Hargreaves had lunch with Barcelona sporting director Deco in Spain on Monday and held meetings with Atletico Madrid on Tuesday. The pair are also set to meet counterparts at Real Madrid as well as clubs in Portugal and Italy. Like you said, building relationships. That's exactly what we need to do. And that will definitely be under the instruction of, I'd say, Omar Barada, I know he's not technically working for United right now, but he's definitely having conversations. So again, that's another good thing that we're starting to do because it's absolutely huge. Lastly, to round off the show, reports coming in from the MEN that Hojlund still hasn't started first team training fully, but then there was reports saying he was going to start on Sunday. If he's not in first team training now, I don't think he'll be starting, do you guys?
No.
No,
he won't be starting.
Because this is a big game and they'll definitely been working on things for this game all week. You know, so the same way how we played Liverpool last time, you could tell that was a whole week's worth of training to be able to play. Because we never played like that for the whole season. So to be able to play in that style, that defensive style, very counter-attacking, Hojlund would need to be there. He would need to be there for the whole training session, for all the training sessions, to know exactly how we're going to play on Sunday. So, I mean, maybe you might be doing training behind closed doors. You know what United are like, but yeah, it seems unlikely.
But I'm sure that you'll be speaking a little bit more on the Liverpool game on your Wonder Kids show in a little bit, Mordzs.
Yes, we will.
Tell the people what's going on.
Yeah, so 5 p.m. We had our first episode last week, and we've got a second episode of the failed Wonder Kid. It's me and two of my guys, SK and Billy, and the show is pretty much a more relaxed show. A lot of fun, a lot of games. Very entertaining. So yeah, make sure you check it out at 5 p.m.
A lot of banter. I'll be watching it from the little gallery over there, and I love it. So yeah, we'll be seeing that later on. But thank you everyone for watching the show. Faz, thank you as well.
Thank you very much.
For being here. And
listen, you know what? Big up to all the community who stood by us. There's infinite beauty in every storm, and to the people that stick by us day in, day out, I thank you. And so does Beth, so does Mordzs, so does Mark, so does Ryan, so does all the producers. You can try and break us down, but listen, we're built with titanium.
So. Bit like Bremer.
Yeah. Why did you have to ruin my Diogo Dallo? Thank you all.
Thank you everyone for watching. Yeah. Make sure you hit a like on the video. Thank you everyone for all your super chats. We really do appreciate it. And yeah, make sure you tune in live at 5 p.m. on the United Stand. See you on the next one, everyone.